Nagsagawa ng kampanya ang Department of Labor and Employment o DOLE at isang civic organization upang wakasan ang nakababahalang child labor sa Negros Oriental. Naglabas ang DOLE ng 5 million pesos na halaga na tulong sa unang quarter ng taon at ibinahagi ito sa 120 na magulang ng mga child worker. Ayon naman kay DOLE Senior Officer Ruby Sempron, 1,575 na child laborers ang nakaprofile at 1,330 naman sa kanila ang maigting na tinututukan sa probinsya. Inilabas na ng singer-songwriter at Tawag ng Tanghalan Season 2 Grand Champion na si Janine Berdin ang kanyang latest single music video na Tayo Lang, kung saan tampok ang ilang kilalang drag queens sa bansa. Ang summer vibe song ay swak sa selebrasyon ng Pride Month ngayong buwan, kung saan bida sa MV ang Drag Race Philippine Queens na sina Kiana Mix Chanel, Miss Jade So, Arizona Brandy at Maxi Andreyson sa kanyang J-Bot G persona. Ayon kay Berdin, taliwas sa kanyang rock preferred genre, inspirasyon niya sa kanyang bagong kanta si Doja Cat at Iles Morena. After nearly 4 days without food, water, or warm clothing, and despite early signs she was alive, a 26-year-old Brazilian hiker was found dead days after falling from a cliff near the crater of Indonesia's volcano Mount Rinjani. Watch the story.
A 26-year-old Brazilian tourist, Juliana Marins, went missing after falling from a cliff near the crater of Mount Rinjani, an active volcano in Indonesia, during a group hike early Saturday morning. Despite initial sightings and hearing her cries for help, rescue operations were hindered by the mountain's steep terrain, thick fog, and limited visibility. Drone footage captured her alive shortly after the fall, but later attempts to locate her were unsuccessful as she seemed to have slipped further down the slope. As search efforts continued, Juliana's family voiced frustration on social media, highlighting that she had been stranded for days without water, food, or warm clothing. They also criticized authorities for keeping the hiking trail open to tourists despite the ongoing rescue, fearing the lack of urgency could endanger her further. Officials said they kept the trail open to avoid problems for hikers who had already booked their trips and warned them to stay away from the rescue site. Members of her group revealed the hike was especially difficult due to freezing temperatures and poor lighting before sunrise. The Brazilian Foreign Ministry confirmed it was coordinating with the Indonesian government and monitoring rescue efforts through embassy personnel. Mount Rinjani, standing over 3,700 meters, has seen previous fatalities and continues to attract tourists despite its challenging trails. Faith Villanueva, reporting for Golden Nation Network.
A commemoration for last year's bloody anti-government protest in Kenya has once again turned bloody, killing at least 16 people and injuring 400 individuals. For further details, watch this.
In Kenya's nationwide rallies against police brutality and government corruption, and to commemorate those killed in last year's anti-government protests, at least 16 people have been killed and 400 were injured, according to Amnesty International and the Kenyan National Commission on Human Rights. During the march, thousands of people held Kenyan flags and placards with images of victims from the previous year. Some lit fires and chanted slogans against the country's president, William Ruto. Soon after, the police fired tear gas and water cannon and hit protesters with batons. Those injured include protesters, police, and journalists. The casualties were reportedly from people being hit by live fire and rubber bullets or were beaten. Among those, 83 people were seriously injured and at least 8 were being treated for gunshot wounds. The casualties were primarily in the country's capital, Nairobi, where the police have barricaded major roads and also used razor wires to block off access to the parliament and official residence of President Ruto. Protests that developed into clashes also occurred in the cities of Mombasa, Nakuru, Kisumu, and other parts of Kenya. As per Amnesty Kenya's executive director Irungu Hoton, the verified death toll were mostly caused by the police. The growing outrage of the citizens over the past few years was rooted in corruption, unemployment, government excesses, and rising living costs. Zeni Derama, reporting for Golden Nation Network.
Meanwhile, Trump declared in a news conference at the end of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization Summit that the U.S. will meet Iran next week regarding the possible nuclear agreement. The U.S. president would be seeking the same negotiations with Iran prior to the latest conflict in the Middle East. Meanwhile, the 32 country leaders decided to invest 5% of GDP annually on core defense requirements and defense security-related spending by 2035 to ensure individual and collective obligations. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte stated that as the world becomes more dangerous, allied leaders will take bold decisions to strengthen collective defense, making NATO a stronger, a fairer, and a more lethal alliance. At narito ang recap ng mga nagbabagang balita ngayon. Sa ulo ng mga balita, OFWs sa US military base, inalerto sakaling magpakawala ng missile ang Iran. Makati City, binuksan na ang unang animal care facilities sa bansa. Korte Suprema, naninindigang hindi dapat gamitin ang relasyon sa sekswal na pang-aabuso. Mosyong dismissal ng impeachment case sa impeachment trial, posible ayon kay SP Escudero. Ilang drag queens, tampok sa latest single MV ni Janine Berdin. At Brazilian hiker, natagpuang patay ilang araw matapos mahulog sa bulkan ng Indonesia. Patas at pantay na balita, komprehensibong ulat para sa pulso ng masa. Ito ang Newsforce. Yan ang pinakamainit na mga balita ngayong araw. Manatiling nakatutok sa aming mga ulat at updates sa aming Facebook page, facebook.com/Golden Nation Network. At mag-subscribe sa aming YouTube account, youtube.com/@Golden Nation Network. Ako si Princess Castro at ito ang Newsforce.